Today I want to talk about, for whether it's a first-time person or anybody that's getting back into the market, as a repeat buyer, what can they expect with the whole contract process? Let's start with somebody that is trying to sell their home. How do you guys go through talking to the client about the value? Because, let's face it, you all own homes. We all do. Mm-hmm. And we all think our home's the greatest place, it is. And, if we can get $1 million for it, we would. But chances are it's not worth $1 million,
Sure. You sound like every other seller.
But, how do you go in and talk about pulling the comps, talking about setting the price, because it's vital for a good solid agent like one of you guys to be able to tell somebody what their property is really worth and not set them up for failure down the road. So how do you go through with the comps process and helping them understanding what a house is worth?
Yeah, so that's a great topic, and that's, Andrew will agree, that's changed.
Absolutely. Right now, it's going to depend on, is it a buyer's market or a seller's market?
Absolutely. So that conversation, obviously, we have to adapt.
Right.
Right.
And we have to go in and set those appropriate expectations.
Correct.
But when working with a seller right now, that's they're a lot happier to talk to us than they were 54 years ago.
Absolutely. Prices have went up, and then, there's a lot of things that go into it, but right now, you sit down, you run comps, you look at, the tax record, make sure the information's correct. You evaluate homes. If they're in a neighborhood, you try to evaluate homes directly there. I typically pull like a mile radius, which is what an appraiser would do when the time comes.
Right.
A mile, they may go over a little bit, and try to really compare apples to apples of, the same size, the same layout, if you can find that. If not, you can kind of break it down and do price per square foot. You just want to get a good idea of what's actually happened right around you to see the value compared to like how an appraiser is going to look at the value.
Right. Andrew, just talk them through, how you need to be careful about pricing your home when you have that nice finished basement.
Okay, so when we say nice finished basement, we're not talking about you finished a room and there's no windows and it feels like an actual basement. That could be the case, but we're talking houses where it's a walkout basement. There's windows. It just feels like the second floor of your house.
Or it could have been a garage.
Yeah, we're good usable square footage, but most now, when you have it appraised, they're only going to give you credit for half of that. They're only going to give you 50% credit for it, where on the main level, you're getting 100% credit.
Right.
So, and it's kind of amazing, really, that there's not any way to change these guidelines or that they haven't been changed, but we've ran into multiple appraisal issues. So now, after, jumping through the hoops of this so many times, you just have to go ahead and value it as it's a basement. Mm-hmm. They're not going to give you as much credit for it. Right. They're not going to value it as much. So you have to take that into account when you're running the comps.
If anyone out there is considering remodeling or adding on, I would advise call a local agent and talk to them about that value, or an appraiser, to make sure that they're not going to put more money, overbuild. Yeah.
So let's say you've got the whole value thing worked out and so on, and you're comfortable with your price and whatever. What's the next step? If you've got the comps ran, now you've agreed about what you feel this house will sell for, where do you go next with the client?
Call a moving truck.
Well, right now, if from a seller standpoint, you really have to lecture them on being prepared, because houses are selling in a matter of days, sometimes a day, sometimes a few hours.
Right.
It depends on where it is and everything, but typically things are moving so quickly that you want to have a game plan definitely.
Absolutely.
In play.
Go ahead, but being prepared also means being accessible, because I might need to reach you on the phone while you're at work, and we need to talk now.
Yeah.
Right.
Or we're going to upset a lot of people.
Right.
So understand the importance of everyone being able to get a hold of one another.
Right.
Yep.
Now, there's one thing that I know that you guys always have a tough conversation with some sellers is decluttering their home. How do you walk somebody through saying, hey, you need to put up or remove this or that so that your house shows better? How do you approach somebody with that conversation?
Well, I guess we probably both have our own ways, but I usually tell just about everyone. I mean, some people you'll go to their house and realize they're a neat freak. So you're like, woohoo! Inside, you're like, yes. But I usually tell my people, I say, look, less is more.
Yep.
It's going to look bigger with less stuff in it.
Yep.
If you have large furniture, some people put 14 chairs in the living room instead of 2. You know, I tell them to go ahead and try to rent a storage unit or something, or pile it in the garage. And I also tell people to clean, like, make it look like you don't live here. That's what I tell people. I was like, clean it. I hire a cleaner. I'll give you a list.
Right.
You need to clean it like you're a neat freak and like you don't live here.